One of my all-time favorite games is Naruto Clash of Ninja 2 for the Nintendo GameCube. Even now, revisiting it from childhood and having played it on and off for years, I still think it's a fairly decent fighting game that's worth playing even today. I'm glad that there's a lot of people out there who had this game and remember it fondly. Unfortunately, Clash of Ninja isn't something that most GameCube owners have come back to revisit or even had the chance to experience at all. So there's a lot of mixed opinions out there about who the strongest and weakest characters are. With this video, I want to throw in my opinion. I want to go through my tier list, briefly going over each character and giving my main reasons as to why they're ranked where they are. I would love to go much further in depth with a lot of these characters, but I've been working on this video for way too long now, and I already have to split it up into two parts. So for now, I'll only be going over the C tier and B tier characters.
Hey, is that all you got?
Also, if you're a seasoned Clash player and my list seems really weird to you, I do play with attack power 1, and that might explain some of my thoughts.
Think you're going to beat me?
Hinata and Neji are what I would consider the two worst characters in the game. They have pretty similar strengths and weaknesses, so I'll be going over them both in the same segment. The best thing about Neji are his long combo strings. He's even able to land some nice combos into his ultimate jutsu, allowing Neji to do lots of damage in the right situation. Only thing is, long combo strings don't really matter too much, since everyone can substitute out of any combo using only half your chakra meter, and you get chakra really quickly in this game, especially by getting hit. Neji also has his rotation counter, which unlike most counters, you can hold. It works against projectiles, and even works from behind. It's one of his stronger options. Neji's ultimate comes out slow with pretty mediocre range, making it difficult to use unless it's within a true combo. Generally, a lot of Neji's attacks are either short range, slow, or easily punishable, making him pretty weak in neutral. Again, Hinata is somewhat similar to Neji, as she also has access to some high damage combo strings. Uniquely, Hinata also has this cool air dash. You can use it to catch jumps or get behind your opponent quickly, but you really can't get much off of it and it does a minimal amount of damage. The worst thing about both of these characters is their abysmal substitute, which travels hardly any distance, usually leading to it missing and you possibly getting punished for it. Which is a really big problem for a character to have in this game, considering how important substituting is. Overall, while having some options, both Hinata and Neji have major flaws which prevent them from being higher on the list.
Time for some extra credit.
Think you can defeat me?
Getting this out of the way first, Aruka and Mizuki are nearly identical characters, only having different aerial projectiles. Everything else is exactly the same to my knowledge, so while I'll be referring to Aruka, understand that I'm also talking about Mizuki. For the most part, Aruka has really mediocre damage output. Even if you win neutral with his worse than average attacks, you just can't get much off. Aruka is one of the few characters to have a teleport, but the range is embarrassingly short, and so slow that you'll probably just get hit out of it considering how close you have to be in the first place. Truthfully, the only thing keeping Aruka from being in C tier is his down B. It's fast, has good range, and goes under jabs. And most importantly, it leads into his most powerful combo strings. It even gives Aruka his best setup to hit his ultimate jutsu, which is too slow to use in most situations.
You've got so many blind spots.
On reaction, the opponent can just counter hit Aruka out of it, and the end lag is so immense you can even punish with his own ultimate.
Let's get this. Take this.
Real quick, I'd like to mention that a majority of characters on this tier are completely outclassed by other characters who are virtually the same, but are much better overall. So some B tier characters might be just a bit underrated because of that.
Me?
As for Kakashi, there really isn't too much to say about him. He has some decent attacks, some not so good attacks. And it's worth noting that he has possibly one of the worst counters in the game. It comes out slow and makes him step back, usually leading to Kakashi avoiding the attack he was trying to counter. Also, he can get hit out of it after the counter activates. Kakashi does have his Lightning Blade, which can be pretty powerful in the right situation, but it isn't really the best ultimate jutsu to have, as it pretty much requires a proper setup to land effectively.
Don't take it personally.
Life treating you good?
My guy actually has some pretty good combos. His ultimate jutsu isn't half bad either, giving him access to some pretty high damage.
You're such a great person.
Unfortunately, there isn't too much else my guy has in terms of options and moves. He lacks any projectiles and might have a hard time getting in on certain characters. But he partly makes up for it by doing piercing damage with his normal attacks, which for most characters can only be done with attacks involving like kunais or swords. This comes especially helpful in low health situations since characters can be KO'd by chip damage in this game.
Behold the power of the Uchiha clan.
Sasuke has a pretty diverse moveset with plenty of tools that give him the ability to play around lots of situations. Like his anti-air command grab, and relatively good teleports. This makes him a pretty strong character in the right hands. Notably, Sasuke has his fire style jutsu, which can lead to really devastating combos, but it can also leave you open to get punished if misused. Probably the most mediocre thing about Sasuke is his ultimate jutsu. It has pretty bad range, making it difficult to land at times, and doesn't do a whole lot of damage.
Prepare yourself.
Rock Lee has some really good combo strings which do decent damage, and can allow for powerful follow-ups. Lee's combos also move him in a way which can usually lead to him avoiding the opponent's substitute. Similarly to Guy, he doesn't have any projectiles, but does do chip damage with normal attacks. What makes Lee undoubtedly better than Guy is his ability to open his gates. Opening a gate on its own creates a hitbox all around Lee that pushes the opponent away and can even clash with other attacks. It also makes Lee completely invincible for a moment. Once the first gate is open, Lee is capable of doing massive amounts of damage.
Primary bonus.
Opening the third gate, the Gate of Life, his power is increased even further. His chakra meter increases automatically, and his ultimate jutsu will now teleport to the opponent and do over half health on its own. Now I can't stress enough that this really isn't all that powerful, as his ultimate is still rather slow and easily avoidable. Mixed with the fact that Lee's health is also decreasing automatically, opening up the third gate can usually lead to losing the round.
Fight over. Naruto Uzumaki.
Yes! I'm gonna become Hokage! It's my turn, believe it!
Naruto is all around a pretty good character. He doesn't have any major flaws or great strengths. His combo strings are decent to good, and some of his moves are slightly above average. Naruto's counter is similar to Neji's in that you can hold it using your chakra meter and works if you get hit from any direction. His down A is also notably good. This move summons a clone that attacks from under your opponent. It's a relatively slow move, but the clone can't be stopped as long as Naruto touches the ground in his animation. It can be a useful tool to interrupt combos and even bait in an unsuspecting opponent.
Please don't hate me.
Haku can be a powerful character up close, especially when the opponent is getting up, specifically with his forward and down B. They're pretty safe moves that cover a good bit of distance and go under jabs. Haku is also very capable from mid to far range, in part due to his aerial projectiles, which are able to be held in midair at the cost of chakra and automatically home in on the opponent when you let go of A. You can use this to extend his combos and even cross up the opponent. The biggest problem with Haku is that he lacks good damage output. Unless you are able to land a combo either using his Senbone or his ultimate jutsu, you just aren't going to be doing a whole lot of damage after winning neutral.
Crystal ice mirrors.
That's all the C tier and B tier characters on my tier list for Naruto Clash of Ninja 2. Originally, I wanted to make one long video that goes over every character, but this turned out to be a lot more time consuming than what I had thought. I have full intentions of still going over everyone in a part 2 sometime in the future. I have a lot more to say about a majority of the remaining characters, but until then, this will have to be all for now.
Fight over. Rock League.
The lotus of Hidden Leaf Village will bloom twice.